Good morning and thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to make one of our very favorite recipes, a fruit chaat from our Med Instead of Meds recipes. All you're going to need for this is going to be a sweet potato, bananas, a mango, an apple, about a cup of grapes, some lime juice, and chili pepper, salt, and black pepper. Let's get started. To hold the knife, you want to make sure that you put one finger on each side of the blade and then wrap your other fingers underneath it to make it steady. I've already prepared my sweet potato by microwaving it for about 6 minutes, rotating it halfway through. Now I'm just going to make small cuts in it because I'm looking to make cubes out of it. Once I've made some slices, I can just make some nice cuts. The size and the shape's not as important in this one because we're not cooking it. If you were going to cook a recipe, then you would want to make sure that all of your pieces were all the same size to make it cook thoroughly and evenly all the way through. But since this one is not a cooked recipe, however you make it's going to work. Okay, and once we have that finished, we're going to just put it right into our bowl. Always scraping with the back side of your knife if you're using your knife as a scraper, that way it doesn't dull the blade. All of our fruits have already been washed, so we're going to go ahead and just slice up our bananas really easy. Okay, so after we have our banana chopped up, we're going to also add that one right into our bowl, again scraping from the back side. And we're going to start with our apple. So the apple, anytime you have something round, you want to make sure that you're going to cut all the way down the middle of it to make two flat surfaces so that it doesn't roll away from you on the board. So we're going to cut this way and this way, trying to get as much of that stem out of it as possible. That core of it, nobody really likes to eat that core, so we'll slide it over. And we still have a little bit of core on this side, so we'll take that one out too. And our recipe for this one says to make slices or cubes. Again, with this recipe, it doesn't matter the size and the shape so much because it's just what you like in your salad. And you can sift back through to see if there's anything else that you don't like or if you want to make anything smaller. And then go ahead and add it right back into your bowl. So to cut the mango, we're going to hold it straight up with the stem facing up, and our goal is going to be to kind of what they call cheek it, which is to cut down the sides away from that pit that's in the middle of it, like that. And if you feel your knife cutting into the pit, you can just go kind of around it. So you see the pit that's in there. Once you have your two sides, go ahead and score it, which means just cut down, making your long grooves. Just like that, like making a really big tic-tac-toe board. And then there are a couple of ways that you can get it out. Some people invert it and use a paring knife and actually cut it out, but other people, and the easier way that I found is to just simply take a spoon once you turn it upside down and then just use your spoon to cut it out. So then once you use your spoon to just scoop it out, you can dump it right into your bowl. And you want to get as close to the skin as you can without getting that skin in there. And that just leaves our grapes. And so for our recipe, it just says to cut them in half. So you're going to take about a cup of them. My family likes grapes, so I would put a little bit more grapes in here. Again, because this is not a cooked salad, you could add more or less of whatever ingredients that you wanted. But you're just making little cuts halfway, just to make it a little easier for them to swallow. And there we have almost all of our main ingredients. Again, we're going to put this right into our bowl. And then our recipe also calls for a half of a teaspoon of chili pepper, a half a teaspoon of salt, and then a fourth of a teaspoon of black pepper to taste. So we're going to just toss that in all around. And our recipe also calls for 2 limes. Now, I couldn't find 2 limes in the store, so I'm using lime juice. So if you're wanting lime juice instead of the actual lime, then there's going to be about 2 tablespoons per lime. All right, so I've added all that in. My hands are clean, so I'm just going to toss that around good. And then you are ready to serve your delicious fruit chop. Thanks for joining us.